Hi, my name is Crystal Olivaria, and I'm the Career Conversationalist. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're here to discuss closely guarded secrets to attracting mentors. Discover how to spot people who would be good mentors. Avoid missing opportunities of a lifetime. And learn how to age wisely and beautifully. Have you ever wished someone would take your child under his or her wing and provide career guidance? Have you ever wondered how your child's life would be enriched if he or she had mentors? Have you ever wondered where your child can go to find mentors? How your child should approach a person he or she is interested in being mentored by. While it might take a little while to find mentors, it is well worth the time, energy, and effort. Mentors pass on their gems of knowledge and pearls of wisdom to his or her mentee as an inheritance and legacy. Developing mentor-mentee relationships are valuable emotionally and monetarily. Do you want your child to become wealthy and inherit valuable years of knowledge and wisdom that can be turned into cash? Discover how to spot someone who'd be a good mentor. Most people are happy to become mentors to someone who is willing, eager, and genuinely interested in their craft and takes pride in their work. People are social creatures and they want to have fun passing on their knowledge and wisdom that they have gained throughout the years. Personally, I find that many of my mentors tend to be in the same stage of life. Often, their kids are grown and out of the house. They have done well for themselves professionally, so they have more free time than most people. They are heavily involved in giving back to the community. These people are often a little lonely and are looking for companionship. These people are not lonely in an oddball kind of way. Rather, these people are successful and they are not a slave to wage. Therefore, they are usually doing their own thing and they become lonely because too many of their peers do not enjoy the same amount of freedom as they do. These people have enough time and they are happy to talk and engage in conversations about themselves and their successes. In the beginning, conversations may be brief. For example, in college, I had 2 college professors who became my mentors. In the beginning, I barely spoke to either one of them. One person was my accounting professor, while the other was my economics professor. I went to class, participated, and that was the extent of our conversations. I never visited the professors during open office hours to start a conversation, although that is an idea worth strongly considering. I didn't think of either as being potential mentors. Then, one day, for some reason, I was in the office of my accounting professor. We were talking when the phone rang. He answered the phone, and my eyes darted around the room. When he was done with the phone call, he apologized for the interruption. I moved the conversation forward and talked about something in his office I noticed while he was on the phone. That was the start of an ongoing mentor-mentee conversations for years until he passed on. My accounting professor worked in the corporate world, made good money, and he had good investments. Rather than retiring, he decided to spend his time working part-time as a college professor and part-time as a college admissions advisor. He saw the value of his own college education and what was possible because of it. Working at a private college that did not require a teaching credential was his way of giving back to the community. My economics professor was a temporary teacher. The teacher the college hired during the summer to teach economics in the fall accepted another job offer at the last minute. The person in charge of the business department asked a colleague at a networking event if he would be a substitute teacher until the school can find and hire another economics teacher. This person said yes, and he discovered that he liked teaching. This person was a very successful business manager who became fed up with the corporate way of doing things and ventured off on his own to start his own company. He started 4 successful businesses and bought one to turn it around just to see if he had the skill set. This professor had passive income from 5 companies. This person realized he liked teaching because a few students in class were really interested in business and they asked great questions. Talking to a class and answering questions gave him the opportunity to pass on his years of knowledge and wisdom to students who would use and appreciate it. I never approached either of these professors with a formal proposal for a mentor-mentee relationship. It just sort of happened. More specifically, during opportunities for small talk, I asked questions like, "How did you get started in becoming a professor?" I listened and asked follow-up questions. I liked what I heard, so I continued to ask questions. After a short while, it became obvious to me that I could learn a lot from both of these professors, so every opportunity that came along, I would ask more questions. Over time, the conversations progressed from formal to casual, and the conversations became more interesting. My advice to spotting a good mentor is to be open to learning from others who know more than you. Set an intention that you would like to be mentored by someone who is successful in an area you are interested in. Meet a lot of people, and then through small talk, you will discover which people you would like to get to know better. Be courteous and friendly when you talk. Ask a lot of questions and listen. Most people like talking to someone who's cheerful and inquisitive, so smile and be engaging. Then follow up with open invitations when you hear something like, "Feel free to stop by my office anytime during open office hours." If you take these people up on their offer and you drop by, you may easily put a smile on their face. This is how great mentor-mentee relationships begin. Avoid missing opportunities of a lifetime. Mentorship is not just a formal way to pass on knowledge and wisdom. It can be a fun and entertaining way to hear real-life true stories that often are so real they sound fake. Many of the stories I heard are so non-typical that it was hard to believe they were true. A few examples of things I heard my mentors say were, "I was given a blank check and I was told to fill it out for whatever amount I thought I earned. I was asked about my long-term career goals and I was told I would be placed in positions needed to help me gain the experience to move upwards. Radar guns that officers use to give speeding tickets need to be recalibrated. When we were working on radar guns and testing them, we clocked a tree going over 30 miles per hour. Trees aren't supposed to move, you know." Management kept interfering, so I had a wall built between my side of the building and the rest of the company. No one from outside of my area was given a key. If management or human resources wanted to go into my side of the building, they had to make an appointment in advance. Some of these guys were making their company upwards of millions of dollars each year, and they were making real contributions to the company's bottom line. But human resources would not give them a meaningful raise like $10,000 per year. So I used $10,000 as bait to get talent to come talk to me about working for my startup company. Some of the stories I heard were easier to believe than others. It was easy for me to believe that a tree could be clocked at going more than 30 miles per hour with a speed radar gun. Obviously, the technology and the radar gun wasn't working properly. Some of the other stories were much harder to believe. Like, how does a recent college graduate from a master's degree program get handed a blank check and told to fill it out for whatever amount he thought he earned? I suspected. I never heard stories like these because they never happened. I had a lot of skepticism, and I think it showed on my face. My professors then told me a tale of how each adventure came about. The stories helped me to understand my professor's point of view. I remember the professor, who was also a part-time college admissions advisor, being abundantly energetic about encouraging every student he came across to enroll in a master's degree program. The students who only wanted a bachelor's degree were annoyed. However, many other students started to ponder achieving a higher level of education. One of the biggest objections students had regarding enrolling in a master's degree program was that they were going to get into more debt for more schooling rather than gain real-world experience. There was also a stigma that students working on a master's degree lived in ivory towers of the academic world, focusing on theory that usually did not translate to the real world. There were lots of tales about people who were working, and new college graduates with master's degrees would come in talking about how to change things without understanding how things worked in the office. This upset many coworkers, and when things did not go according to plan, employees with less education couldn't wait to tell those who were more educated, "I told you so." A lot of students did not want to become that person that everyone in the office dreaded. Students did not want to become the person with a master's degree who thinks they know how things work, then be given the blessing of management to implement a plan in an office setting they know nothing about because they have no real-world experience. Many students saw this as being set up for hardship or failure early on in their career if they earned a master's degree. I certainly heard many tales, and I understood my peers' point of view. Therefore, I had a hard time understanding why my professor talked to every student he came across about a master's degree program. So one day, I decided to ask him why he was so passionate about enrolling every student that he could. Side note, I watched my professor talk to incoming freshmen about getting a master's degree. My professor did not waste any time as a part-time admissions advisor in developing a steady stream of students to enroll in another college degree program. This professor/college admissions advisor was a master enroller, and he started the conversation long before he asked students to enroll. He had 4 years to handle objections, so when the time came to enroll students, they were ready to sign on the dotted line of the college admissions application for another 2 years. My professor shared with me how earning a master's degree changed his life. Yes, it is true that many people see a master's degree program as research and theory. However, if that research is implemented properly, it can be worth a lot of money, respect, and opportunities. This professor shared that after earning his master's degree, he was asked to work on a research project. A company had a division that was losing money and was not part of their core products. The company wanted to offload the assets of the division and wanted to know the best option available that would minimize the amount of loss associated with closing the division. My professor spent 6 months researching the market, current prices, and who would benefit the most from the assets the company wanted to offload. Then my professor presented his findings to management. The numbers told a story about different ways to offload the assets based on current market prices. Management was in a position to make a well-informed decision about the best way to offload assets given the available data. However, my professor also included in his presentation a strategy that presented another option that was not visible with the data. The strategy presented a real opportunity to make a lot of money. Then my professor explained the simplistic but brilliant strategy that, if utilized, showed how the numbers projected and how much money could be made by offloading the assets in a strategic manner. The goal of the research project was to find a way to minimize the amount of loss the company would have from offloading the assets of the division that was closing, not to make a profit from them. However, since my professor included a strategy about how to generate a profit, management was more than happy to listen. My professor received a green light to move forward with the project. Since he was the brainchild of the project, he was given the opportunity to see things through. You can imagine how a young kid out of college who gets the blessing of a CEO could ruffle a few feathers. People in the office who were insecure, jealous, and/or were not as business savvy as my professor tried to undermine him and his project. He met with a lot of resistance and faced a lot of heat and pressure from people within the organization, especially from people who were older and more experienced than him. Remember, it takes heat and pressure to make a diamond. Also, unknown to him at the time, the CEO even had people from outside the company pressuring him about letting this young kid be in charge of offloading assets. I will spare you the dramatic details of the deal and the simplistic but brilliant strategy that turned a losing deal into a winning deal. Maybe I will talk about the details in an upcoming blog post. How is that for a cliffhanger to keep you coming back for more? Are you interested in winning strategies to help your child become wildly successful? Long story short, the assets were sold in a strategic manner and the company made a lot of money. My professor was handed a blank check and he was told to fill it out for whatever amount he felt he earned. Then he was asked about his long-term career goals and told he would be placed in positions needed to help him gain the experience to move upwards. I love real-life stories such as this one, and I wish I would have heard more of them while growing up. Don't get me wrong, when I was young, popular children's stories like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, The Little Red Hen, and The Tale of Peter Rabbit were appropriate for teaching life lessons. However, once I became older and I was a teenager, it would have been nice to hear such stories like the one just mentioned. I am fortunate I had mentors who were generous and shared their life stories. I learned a lot from my mentors' stories, and I enjoyed the retelling of each tale with a little more detail each time. I think my professors shared more details as they saw me grow and mature and become ready for the next lesson. Oftentimes, one story had so many morals to learn that I think my professors hesitated to share too much at any one time because they wanted to be sure I fully grasped each moral of the story before moving forward. I didn't mind rehearing the story retold because each telling of the tale kept me in the mindset of what's possible. I also love not knowing but anticipating what new wonderful thing I might learn each time I talk to my mentors. I would have missed out on so many wonderful opportunities and tales if I had not sought out mentoring. I would not have been in the position to receive gems of knowledge and pearls of wisdom if I had not sought out mentoring. I'm telling you this because I want your child to avoid missing opportunities of a lifetime. Learn how to age wisely and beautifully. I will share with you my secret to staying youthful. But first, let me tell you how I stumbled upon the secret. It took me years to figure it out during some of the ugliest, darkest years of my life. I worked for a company that I knew was likely to become insolvent pretty soon. I saw the writing on the wall. I remember being on the phone with my mentor, describing to him what I saw. He told me to get out before things became worse, and I remember not knowing what to do next. My mentor said, "It does not matter. Any place is going to be better than where I was." Then I was encouraged to go back to school to earn my master's degree. I was told that in a down economy, employers will hire a person with a master's degree over a bachelor's degree. The 2 years I would be back in school would give the economy time to recover. I had a hard time believing that going back to school was the right answer for me. What I saw was not the company become insolvent because of the economy. The company had a very loyal clientele list that absolutely loved them and shopped at their stores often. What I saw was a company that was mismanaged. Younger management had worked their way up the corporate ladder, and they did not know the company's clientele as well as some of the old-timers. As a result, the company wanted to head in a new direction, and there was a lot of fighting within the company. As a result, the basic products the store carried versus the new fashion that customers wanted were usually sold out and not replenished in a timely manner. I observed the company I worked for go out of business by not serving their clients well. I didn't understand how the economy would improve if I made a decision to go back to school for a master's degree. After all, I suspected that other companies were becoming insolvent for the same reason of not serving their clients well. I realized that the economy was terrible because many people that worked for companies did not know how to serve clients. The easy money that people had due to expanding credit had dried up, and a lot of companies with decently run businesses fell on hard times. The companies that served their clients well remained in business. The companies that served their clients exceedingly well thrived. I was confused because people talked about the economy as if making money was outside of their ability. Why wait for the economy to improve before expecting to make more money? For many years, I struggled to find my way, and I felt like a failure struggling to get by. The reality was, I worked for a lot of companies that did not have a solid marketing system to rely on. So things were always slipping through the cracks, and I was the one picking up the pieces. For example, I worked for a small family-owned company that put on presentations at steakhouses 2 to 3 times a week and bought attendees steak dinners at the best restaurants in town. At the end of the year, the company would host a large client appreciation dinner with entertainment and encourage clients to bring guests they thought might benefit from our services the company offered. We would have slips of paper for everyone to fill out. Are you a client or a guest? Are you interested in attending a workshop? What is your contact information? We would use this information to update clients' contact information. Clients were encouraged to re-attend workshops and bring guests they thought might benefit from the company's services. Many times, the clients that wanted to purchase more services would attend another steak dinner presentation and book their office appointment while enjoying a nice meal. During the client appreciation event, we would hold separate raffles for clients and guests. Clients and guests had to be present to win. Clients had more opportunities to win for each guest they brought that was highly likely to benefit from the services our company provided. By the time it was all said and done, there was about 500 hot leads of people who were clients and new prospects who had checked off a box stating that they wanted to come to a workshop to learn more about the company and the services we provide. Since there was always a lot of stress in the office to fill each workshop, I took it upon myself to call the leads in the afternoon and invite people to upcoming workshops. I left a lot of voicemails, and people would call our office back and sign up for workshops. At the time, the company was relying heavily on postcard mailings to fill the workshops. I found out that the owner thought his new direct mail postcard that he designed was the reason that workshops were filling up quickly and why the company was having higher conversion rates than prior years. Luckily, I had great coworkers who vouched that they heard me on the phone each afternoon. However, the owner still had a hard time believing it. After that job, I had another job where the marketing funnel consisted of television commercials and people would call a 1-800 number. The calls would get routed to a live person, and I was expected to book an appointment and enroll someone who was financially desperate into a $20,000 program on one touch. After working for the company for a few weeks, I learned that the students absolutely loved the technical college degree programs. Students raved that enrolling was the best thing that they have done to invest in their own education. So I suggested that each quarter the school host an event in the evening for current students to bring their friends who would benefit by learning more about the different career paths and the college degrees the college offered. The school could have raffle prizes and collect leads in a similar manner as the company I had worked for before. My suggestion fell on deaf ears, and my suggestion was not seriously considered. I knew this would be a stressful job without a consistent flow of new students who would genuinely be a great fit for the solutions the technical college offered. Furthermore, I knew that this strategy would convert higher and would cost less money than running television ads. Seeing the opportunity to provide amazing value and not be able to seize it was very disheartening. I told management that I did not think I would be a good fit for the college admissions position, even though I strongly believed in the organization and I knew some of their programs properly prepared students for jobs in demand. As you can imagine, I experienced a lot of stress. It is easy to age when you are stressed. For me, the secret to aging beautifully is to age wisely. Managing stress wisely is a beautiful thing. I managed my stress by knowing that if I could not find employment, or if I did not find employment that was fulfilling and financially rewarding, I could always go out on my own. Going out on my own was scary because I was groomed to be an employee rather than self-employed. To ease my anxiety, I study self-made millionaires like Dan Kennedy and Robert and Kim Kiyosaki. I figured if they can do it, so can I. I consider these people to also be my mentors, even though I do not have the same type of relationship with them as I did my mentors who were also my college professors. Studying people who are self-made provides hope, especially if you are surrounded by disappointment. Hope is like sparks and kindling that creates a small fire of desire within you. Feed the fire by placing soft wood to make a quick bright flame by reading books written by self-made multimillionaires. Then feed the fire hard wood to sustain warmth and light by developing meaningful relationships with mentors. The warmth from the fire within will keep you warm during those cold, challenging winters. Your warmth and inner glow will attract others who will want to get to know, like, and trust you, and ultimately do business with you. Update. It is my hope that if you are curious as how to help your child move from the expectation of being an employee to being self-employed, that your family will view early posts and revisit them with a new perspective. I started what would evolve into the Career Conversationalist in 2011, and at the time of crafting this post, it is 2006. You will see a progression from being employed to self-employment. I have continued to study self-made multimillionaires, and my inner fire of desire burns bright as I have learned new things like the 7 steps to enrolling high-end clients. At this time, I have the pieces and components of the 7-step process. I have not connected the pieces to complete the system for various reasons. The main reason is because I am 100% responsible for letting distractions get in my way. At the moment, I am traveling to a new platform, and there are some technological things that need to be worked out, connected and reconnected. I am hoping that the dust will settle within the next few weeks. The timing would be perfect because then I could start the new year with a life audit and spend time figuring out where I am at and what needs to be done so that I can move quickly and swiftly into pursuing my passion full time of helping parents struggling to help their teenager select a relevant career that is fun, fulfilling, and financially rewarding. You now know the closely guarded secrets to attracting mentors. You know how your child can spot people who would be good mentors, as well as how meaningful relationships that are emotionally and monetarily rewarding can develop. With a little bit of time, energy, and effort, your child can avoid missing opportunities of a lifetime. Mentors often pass on their gems of knowledge and pearls of wisdom in the form of entertaining real-life stories filled with drama and life lessons. If your child asks mentors questions and listens, your child will understand how to properly implement life lessons and turn knowledge and wisdom into cash. Do you want your child to be adorned with gems of knowledge and pearls of wisdom? Go share this post with your child and talk about the value of having mentors. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, I would certainly encourage you to go to grabyourfreegift.com/CrystalO, CrystALO, and you will be added to my emailing list, and you will get the gift of your what, where, and how of preparing for college, as well as weekly blog posts, inspirational quotes, and occasional bonuses. And I encourage you to go ahead and create a folder in your email account of !career conversationalist. This way you can save all your emails and be able to find them again easily and quickly when you want to re-access them. Thank you so much for your time, and I really hope you appreciated this episode. I had fun creating it for you, and I hope our paths cross again soon. Take care.